Okay then. Hey everyone, good morning. It's Donny. It's 9:30 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. It's Innovation Fika, your innovation coffee break, a 30-minute coffee break with me and friends and lots of interesting, of course, super interesting guests and hopefully interesting subjects as well. Every morning, not every morning, thank God, not every morning, every Wednesday morning, as often as I can.
You just made a promise.
I know I didn't promise. I know it was a slip. It was a slip, Erik. Wednesday mornings, 9:30 a.m. Innovation Fika. So, and everything is recorded and saved on YouTube. So you will find after this 188th episode, you'll find almost. I don't have 100. I might have 170 episodes or something there on YouTube. So go and check that out. A lot of good people, a lot of good friends, and a lot of good conversations. Just as we hope to have today. It's the world's fastest half an hour. So as you come online, please add who you are in the comments and start asking questions or commenting on what we're saying. Hopefully we will say something worth commenting on. And so here we go. And I will start by Helsing. Now, doing Swinglish here. I'll start by welcoming my guest, Erik. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
It's great to have you here. We actually met in Malta.
Yeah.
And we were like, we were doing this AI rant together. Oh, this stupid ChatGPT thing. And then I said, we should do a talk about this. And I was like, when was that? Was this before the summer, was it?
Yeah, just June, maybe.
June.
May, June.
Anyway. Yeah. So now we're here. So I'll start, as I always start, by asking my guest, Erik, who are you and what do you do?
I'm still trying to figure that out. I've been working in digital developments since like the 90s. It's kind of starting in the garage kind of story. And started out running projects, bigger and bigger projects. Projects got too big, so finally I ended up just running my own businesses instead. Currently, I'm focusing almost all my energy on a company called Go Monday, where we help people in their careers. We help young professionals. We help career transitioners taking their next step.
But you've been doing that. Go Monday's been going on for quite some time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's actually a record. I mean, it's a huge record for me. I'm usually doing things for like 2-3 years. Yeah. This is my 14th year with Go Monday. So,
but it's going quite well as well. I checked your profile on LinkedIn, and it looked like it was going quite well.
Yeah, I mean, we're helping a lot of people. We're helping thousands of people. So that's I really.
So how does it work on Monday?
Well, that's a good question. It's I always struggle a bit with actually describing it because it is a traditional service company. But we, at least on most of our services, we have almost SaaS-like margins because we use technology to the extent we do. So it is a one-to-one, like you actually meet a person.
Okay.
You actually talk with someone. You actually get human feedback on things. But everything is run on our own tech. Extremely.
So who should go to Go Monday and get help? I mean, who's your sort of main?
I'd say anyone who's either thinking, I don't know what to do next. That's one thing. Or that actually knows exactly what to do next, but not really sure how to get there.
Yeah.
Those are the two main groups.
Cool. Well, you know where to go. That's the guy. And Go Monday is the place. But we're talking about AI, and we're talking about non-determinism, and we're talking about this in Swedish. I mean, I love the whole expression of, the Swedish expression called killgissa, which is the guy guessing thing. When guys guess about stuff. And I'm personally, I think that ChatGPT is a whole guy guesser machine kind of thing. Because it's like, it just is like this super confident guy that says, yeah, I know how that works. And then you go, are you sure that's the way it works? I think it works like this. Yes, you're right. It works like that. That's what I was saying all along. And it's like always this super confident machine. It has to be made by guys. And it just is so. And about we just dive into that sort of, non-determinism thing. I know that you mentioned that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the rants we had back at the Malta conference. I mean, my take on it is that it's the first time, the way I see it, the first time we have non-deterministic systems. We have something that is not defined by if this then that.
Yeah, go to then if then. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
At the same time, we've always tried to kind of avoid the black box in business because the black box is undefined. Yeah. Now we have the black box, and that's what we're supposed to use. And I find that extremely interesting. It's like it's the first time we have it, yet we don't really know how to do it. And I mean, speaking ROI, which you mentioned in this post, how do you actually create ROI if it's not deterministic? Like that, to me, that's part of the core of the.
But it feels like, I mean, okay, so I'm not okay, maybe it's also, I don't believe in, fate. I don't think I was born with a full life, like this. It's kind of what happens kind of thing, and the butterfly effect, and I did this and that happened. And we've always tried to create systems which are rigid and structured to sort of kind of keep us in line. And now we have a system that is nothing like that. It's more like life itself. You never know what's going to happen. You can never really trust it. And then coming back to that question, how do we then actually create return on investment, ROI, when we have no idea what's going to come out of the box?
Exactly. And I think that it points to part of why it's so huge, like the whole way we do business, like the whole kind of tailor mass production kind of thing. It's all about being deterministic, like controlling every part of how we produce things. And now our main tool is something which we cannot control the exact output of. And that's the whole point, is not controlling the output. So how do you run a business? How do you create the right expectations? How do you deliver on your promises when it isn't deterministic?
Yeah, I mean, that's. I mean, if you went to through all centuries, you went to a professional, whatever it could be, somebody who is professionally good at what they do, right? And you go to somebody, and you might pay them a premium because you want to work with somebody who you know is better. And you've seen their previous work, and that's kind of what you were expecting, that level of work. And I've done it myself when I'm trying to create things, and it's like, seriously, this is what I get back? I was expecting kind of this. And I was doing some video editing, and I think it's amazing to see these viral clips that are like, they're pixel perfect, everything is fantastic. Because when I try and create video clips, in one scene the person has like helmets with horns, and then the other one they've got like a baseball cap, and it's like, wait a minute, where did the horns go?
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny, and I mean it's also like the expectations. I think most of us are we're open to accept less high standards if we know what to expect. So like, you don't go to McDonald's to get the best meal. You go there because you know what to expect. And it's kind of interesting. Like if now the technology we use does not give us what's expected, if we can't rely on it producing the roughly at least same results every time, then how do you run business on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I actually wrote, I won't say a rant, but I wrote a reflection on that part when it came. I think it was last week as well. I write kind of weekly-ish on LinkedIn when I have my weekly musings, and the last one I wrote was about how convenience beats quality every time. So MP3 beat quality music on records because they were accessible. Grainy GIFs by the first phones beat the printed paper because it wasn't that, I didn't have to wait a week to get my pictures back. And again, we're in a place where we're accepting faster answers with like in the not even lower quality, but undecidable quality kind of thing, because it's just there. It makes it, and that comes back to the another thing I know we were touching upon. I think I wrote about it in the intro as well. Because you mentioned it as well. What happens when everything becomes effortless? How do we maintain quality when everything is effortless? Because you sent me like this ad thing you'd seen, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just saw that on LinkedIn, which it just the copy for the ad was something like effortlessly create your job ad or something like that. Which, I mean, it makes total sense. Of course, I want it effortlessly. On the other hand, do I? Like, what does it mean if it's effortless? It means that anyone does it in the same way. How do you create something actually at least slightly better than the others? If you turn it on the flip side of the job ad, obviously the job application, which is what we're working on. Like, if it's completely effortless, I don't spend any energy in it. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Why even write it in the first place? And I think that when you speak of content specifically, that's a huge deal. Like, we've seen so much content in the last 20 years, and it's just accelerating. With AI, it's going to accelerate exponentially. So
but I mean,
what is the point of all the content?
Well, I mean, we're already talking about this AI sludge that's filling the. I mean, LinkedIn is so full of, and you can. The interesting thing is that we might perceive it as effortless. It makes everything so much easier. But you can spot when somebody has written something with AI, because, and this is no offense to anybody, but I mean, I know your tone of voice. I know how you usually write things. I know how not perfect you are in different languages. And then when you write like a letter perfect text where everything is like super composed, it's like, okay, well, that's a good text, but it's not you. I mean, it's and I don't feel that you've put any effort into it. Even you're saying the right things, and that's really interesting, because I mean, I know that you work with helping people find jobs as well. So if we do a spin on that, it's like, if I'm the receiver of this content, and I just get something that somebody has, churned out through the machine, and I'm going, well, do you actually care about working here? Why should I employ you if you haven't even bothered to give me a personal 5 minutes of your personal time? You've just run it through the machine and said, write an ad for this company. And I get that, and I'm going, I'm not employing this person. I'm not employing you if you don't care about working here. Why should I employ you in the first place? I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying it could happen. I had a absurd situation where I was speaking to a guy about a company that I'm running, and he was going to help me out, and he wrote me like 10 questions. Like, it was super detailed questions about the company, and I thought to myself, that's not him writing those questions. So I just took that and I threw it into ChatGPT and I said, answer these questions, and it came out with like half a novel, and I just sent that back. And then he sent back, questions and the comments on
which
that,
also
was,
exactly.
And it was like a ChatGPT ping pong. And I was just like, and I think both of us were just going like this. And then it was like, but why are we even caring? I mean, nothing is coming out of this.
Which is, I mean, the analogy back to job search and recruiting, it's to me, there is an absurdity when companies use AI in the recruiting and the candidates use AI in the job applications. Like, if both sides go complete AI, then the whole process has no point anymore. Which is extremely interesting.
I mean, and then when we're getting AI agents that also suddenly now have the ability to use your credit card as well, because they're unlocking the payments as well. So I can say, go buy me a trip to whatever. Here's the price, and it might have just one fail-safe saying, I found this trip. Here's the times. Here's the price. Do you want to pay? And I'll go, yes, and then it pays for me, and it's done. So when it comes to that, if I just say, go find me a job, and it finds all the job ads, and it fills in all the applications, and it comes back and it says, I found you a job. I go, okay, cool. Great.
I mean, it would be convenient, right? Everyone would agree that it is hugely convenient. Yet, what most people lack is the sense of meaning. That's why people come to us, because they've lost that along the way. It doesn't feel meaningful anymore. Their job just feels like a dull whatever, and that's like that thing in between, the human thing, the authenticity. that's the part you cannot automate.
I mean, yeah, I know. I mean,
and you shouldn't try.
No, and I think it's important that now we're sort of, it's like overcompensating, and we're just, everything is going into AI now.
Yeah.
And I think we need to find a balance of, how do we use these tools to actually enhance what we're doing, and sort of, keep the human part of it because that is still a big part of us being human. And of course, the biggest irony is as well, when we're seeing these large companies, many of the AI companies saying, we don't accept AI written applications.
Yeah.
I'm going, yeah, well, isn't that a bit,
the irony.
I was like, don't you even see how stupid that sounds? You're trying to sell me AI services, but you don't want to accept applications on AI. It's like, so.
Yeah. That's fun. Just another take from the ROI point of view. I was thinking of that in my Uber getting here this morning. From one point of view, return of investment on AI, if you just simplify it a bit and think about it as just what is the ROI on intelligence?
Yeah.
Like skip the artificial. Like we could argue whether it is intelligence or not, but regardless, let's say what is the ROI on intelligence? How do you create ROI on intelligence? Like we're sitting here, KTH. There's a ton of extremely highly skilled professionals, high intelligence. Does that mean the ROI is there? Not necessarily. Like there's a lot of intelligence out there, which we don't really see a return of investment on.
Of course.
So I think that's an interesting take. Like instead of thinking too much from the technical point of view, how do you actually create a return of investment on intelligence?
Yeah.
And if you actually have the guts to really hire the best people, will you be able to actually take care of them to actually get something out of that intelligence?
1,000 comments on that one. I mean, that exactly. I mean, the reason for my existence in the KTH context, the KTH Innovation, we came into existence because the government in 2008 said we need to get a better ROI on the intelligence on the universities, and then they created the Innovation Office Network in 2008, and they actually started these departments or helped fund, and we started it. So that's actually KTH Innovation is an actual measure to increase the ROI on the intelligence and the output of that intelligence of KTH and all the other universities as well. So I mean, that's just to comment on that. But it's really interesting because I've been applying for jobs in companies, and I've worked in companies where they've had job ads, like, we are looking for you that think differently. We want you to thinking out of the box. And then of course, what happens? Well, then you get people who think out of the box, and then people come in and they last like 2 months. Yeah. Because you can't fit a round peg in a square hole. It doesn't work. It's like, there's no, it sounds really good in the job ad, but there's no like preparedness or organization that can handle that strange thing that came in. Exactly. So that's also that's another conversation we can have on how to.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I mean, it puts the whole conversation, I think, in another perspective, like getting out from the thinking about ROI and AI as tech and kind of financial economic thing, and rather reframing it as the more human side of things, like culture, interpersonal skills. Like how do we meet each other? Like instead of thinking about technology. Yeah,
AI has been going on for a long time. I mean, it's not like ChatGPT suddenly appeared and had invented AI. It's been like this 30 years, 50, 70 years in the making kind of thing. It was just that suddenly you got this interface and LLMs that suddenly opened up for the masses, and we had this adoption, which was mad how quickly people adopted this sort of new kind of search bar there. But if you take a step back, and I will also admit that, we've kind of changed tack here as well, because all of our companies use AI. And people say, I've got any cool AI companies? I said, well,
all of them.
Kind of all of them use AI. It's like they use computers, dude. It's like, okay, well, let's call them AI companies then. So could you put an AI after your name? .ai, cool, AI company. And if you actually, and we're talking about the ROI thing, if you actually zoom out and you talk about things like automation, digitalization, and then of course AI, which is like the third step of that. It's like, it's just another, it's a smarter way of using digital tools to do things more automatically. They can do a lot more now than it could 5 years ago. And if you zoom out and then you see it in that perspective, I think you can very quickly find things that you could or should be doing with the machine, and things that you could or shouldn't be doing with the people, kind of thing. And I think that's one way of navigating the whole sort of landscape of, and not doing everything. I mean, Klarna did. I mean, in the US, that is even an expression. You know, the Klarna retreat. You know, they go out, they fire 400 people and say everything's AI, and then 6 months later we rehired everybody and we threw AI. You know, that kind of thing. So I think it's that balance. We kind of need to find our way into some kind of equilibrium or something.
Yeah, definitely. I think circling back to the effort and effortlessly thing, one of my approaches has been to kind of a mind trick, or whatever you want to call it. Like, what if you stop looking for what's effortless? What if you stop looking for what's easy or simple? And it's amazing. It amazes me how difficult it actually is. Like, I think many people are so trained into always trying to find the easy way of doing things, or like, what's the efficient way of doing things? What's our MVP? Like the whole startup community thing. What if it's no longer about that? What if you can create an MVP in 10 minutes using AI? What is the point? What if it's actually about the opposite? You need to create not a minimal. You could keep the acronym if you want, but call it a maximum viable product instead. Like, what's the biggest, boldest?
That's a new one. Maximum viable product. You heard it. You heard it here today.
Yeah.
Maximum viable product.
Yeah. But so, like, what is actually really hard?
Yeah. But this is so interesting, because I'm seeing this. I'm not going to call it polarization, because that's like in a negative, but I'm seeing I'm seeing the split now, because so many people are on the consuming media in as effortless way as possible. The eternal scroll, the TikTok that never ends, short videos. They can't, 10 seconds in, they get bored, kind of thing. But they are watching people build wooden huts in the forest that took this guy 4 months with a little, not even an axe. He had like a small Swiss Army knife that he cut down a whole tree with, and then he spent like 4 months carving the tree and building this wooden hut. There's tons of videos out there, and then people who build they dig down and they build in underground big tunnels and things and everything, and it's taken them months to do that, and that's max effort, hand, and cooking, all of these cooking programs, whereas people spend hours in refining their cooking skills, and yet we watch it in a 10-second thing, because we would never spend 4 months watching it.
Yeah, and we speed up the video as well.
And we speed up the video as well. So it's this super paradox of watching something that is super. I mean, and people. I heard this the other week. They were so annoyed because the new season of Slow Horses had just been released on Apple. It's only 1 episode per week, for Christ's sake. I have to wait 10 weeks to see the whole thing. And I'm like, well, it's 1 episode a week, kind of thing. Well, I want to watch 10 episodes at once. I have to wait 10 weeks to watch it. Okay, it's how we're sort of trained our brains to the whole instant gratification. I want everything now, boom. And even if it took the guy 4 months, I'm going to spend 10 seconds watching it.
Well, I think I think you're touching on something really fundamental in. I mean, we have this kind of existential crisis going on. Lots of people don't really know where they are. What's the point? What's the meaning? Lack of purpose, whatever. And I think what you're touching on is really the basis of that. We're kind of we forgot how to actually do something that has meaning. And then you just keep looking for it instead because you want it. But you think that you can find it by looking at someone else who has it. But that's not the case. Like, the whole point is the effort you spend on doing something that you actually think is good or great. I find that super interesting. I've been doing a few projects, kind of interior projects at home, and at one point I was rebuilding some kind of shelves with my son. And I was so annoyed. We put wheels on below them to be able to move them, which is that's a good idea. But one of those wheels actually is slightly tilted. The thing works, but I was so annoyed.
Yeah.
And so he said, but no one's going to notice. And I realized, yeah, I mean, no one's not going to notice, but I know.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm not satisfied with it.
Yeah.
It's not about anyone noticing. It's about my sense of satisfaction.
Yeah.
And that's that kind of thing. I think we lost that somehow.
And I will second that, and I will add to that, and I will say another thing we've lost is the sense of pride in having done something without having to tell the world about it.
Exactly.
And the whole thing sort of, if it's not on Instagram, it hasn't happened. Yes, it has. Trust me, it has. If you've experienced it and you feel content that you've experienced it, that's okay. And I mean, I've started a bunch of companies. Some of them are super successful. Today, nobody knows I started them because they've been taken over by other people, and they've created a different storyline. But for me, I know I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really proud that I did it. I do not have to spend every day going, yeah, but I did it. I did it. Don't you want it? I did it. I don't need that.
Yeah.
Because
this actually makes me think there's a book. I don't remember the author right now. Maybe you can put that in the comment later. But the book is called An Audience of One. I just find the title so extremely interesting. That's about like art and the artistic way. But it's interesting. Like if you think about it, what do you create which has an audience of one? The audience is you. You are the audience. No one else is the audience. What would you actually create if you are the only audience? What would actually make you happy as a viewer, watcher, whatever it is? Of
that is so. I mean, that's really profound, and I really like that. I like that. I mean, what would you create with yourself, for yourself, that would make you really happy? And feel proud and happy with yourself as well. And not have to have the rest of the world's go you and like something. That's because that's what creates mental unhealth. Exactly. Is the expectation and not getting it, and this downward spiral of not getting that thing. And I think, and I'm not saying I'm just not saying I've mastered it. I'm just saying that I think that in general, humanity, social media, that went from social networks to social media, has sort of kind of ruined us in that sense. Is that this expectation of always having to have it's not good enough if other people don't say so. And that is also part of the fundamental feeling of self-worth. If I don't get other people's approval, then I'm not worth anything. But you know what? You are. If you get your own approval, you are worth something. Exactly. Make something that you are proud of, spend time and effort into it, and for an audience of one. I love that. Exactly. That is really, really good.
I think it also makes me think like we're at KTH Innovation. Like for me, innovation is, at least to a large extent, is about that. Like there is this partly just like a kind of stereotype, but you have like the inventor kind of person who's just doing something without really knowing what it's actually intended to be. But it's huge. It's great. It can be so groundbreaking. If that person from the beginning had thought about who's actually going to use this, what's it going to be used for, what's the audience going to be, how am I going to present it, we wouldn't have any innovation. You see what I mean? There is an innovation. I mean, innovation has to come out there somehow at some point, of course. But for the innovation to take place, it has to be done for an audience of one.
But I mean, innovation is like applied creativity. Kind of thing. It's creativity applied to something that is value creating for somebody else, kind of thing. But the creative process and the own person's, serendipitous discovery of something, I mean, that happens there and then usually in one part. I'm looking at the timer. I mean, we're like, it's the world's half. We're supposed to be talking about AI and ROI, but this kind of branched. But this is kind of the important stuff, and I think we're branched into something super important. I'm really happy we ended up here, because for me, this discussion was worth so much more than just talking about how do you get ROI of AI. But I think it's the kind of the fundamental parts that we're talking about, that it all comes back to what are we creating that is worth something. And what do we use these tools for to enhance our creations and not just make it effortless? Because that kind of kills the whole idea of quality from the start.
I think like just touching in this last seconds on the ROI thing, like if you're using AI only to be more efficient, I think you're missing the point.
Mm.
That's the big thing, and that's the question we obviously can't answer. But like, how do you really create value from AI? That's the question. Not how do you become more efficient, but how do you create value?
And that is a really good ending comment, because if you look at the innovation wheel, you have radical innovation, and then you have, it turns into, I mean, you have radical innovation that then it creates a new sort of field, which then turns into some kind of more of a incremental systemic innovation thing. And then that comes into efficiency innovation, when we do more with less. But doing more with less usually frees up time and capital, which should go back into the new radical thinking. But companies die because they only chase efficiency, and that's a race to the bottom. So if you're only chasing efficiency, you're heading downwards. Don't forget to understand that efficiency frees up time and capital to actually work on the difficult stuff. And that's the I think really
the effort again.
That's the effort again.
Yeah.
And I think that just on a personal note, we should probably end now. We should stop the one-liner ending things. We're doing ChatGPT things ourselves now. But I will also thank you for coming today, and I will thank you as well for introducing the whole audience to one thing. And I want to say to everybody listening, if anybody, as you see this online or afterwards as well, find your way back into yourself and the pride in what you're doing, and be proud of what you do for yourself, with yourself. It's kind of, that's where I'd say self-worth and mental health starts as well. And you don't need the approval of other people when it comes to being yourself in that kind.
And that's the best ending words. So we'll quit there.
Thanks for coming. Awesome.
Thanks for being here. Awesome.
Bye, everyone. See you next week, 9:30 a.m. Wednesday, not every day. Wednesday, 9 a.m. Sorry about it. Okay. And